Hi, Kat Hendricks here, the yoga mechanic. And everyone knows about the power of making a great entrance, right? Well, the same thing is true in yoga. Sometimes you get so caught up in the flow of class, you're just diving from one pose to the next, in and out, moving around, and you forget to really take your time. And that can be a recipe for injuries. And also, the worst thing is, you miss getting a lot of the benefits of poses if you're not a little bit more careful about how you enter the pose. So today we're going to take a look at how to improve your entrances to a couple of common poses so you can get the most stretching and strengthening benefits. So Warrior Two, really common pose. You do it a lot in yoga. The problem is that most people just cartwheel up into Warrior Two and immediately bend their front knee as deeply as they can. The problem is with that, if you have your back hip up, your chest may turn forward, your booty might be sticking out at the back edge of your mat, and now you're sort of all misaligned in Warrior Two. You're not getting the strengthening and stretching benefits the pose has to offer. So that's no good. Try this. Let's improve the entrance. Start with your front knee bent just a tiny little bit. Drop your back hip and your front hip down so they're level. Point your sitting bones down at the floor between your feet, not at the edge of the mat behind you. Down at the floor. Lift your ribs up, lift your chest. Now turn your chest and shoulders to face the long edge of the mat in front of you. Don't curl a little bit forward. Face the long edge of the mat. On an inhale, turn to look over your front fingers. Exhale. Last thing you do is bend the front knee with all that alignment in place. Now your core abdominals, your waist muscles are working hard to hold your chest and torso upright, and you're getting a big stretch on the inner thigh of the back leg because everything's lined up right from the get-go. So the same principles apply to seated poses like seated twists, right? So you want to stretch your legs out. Nice simple seated twist. We'll step the right leg over the left. Now this bottom leg, you can bend it and tuck your heel up by your hip, or you can leave it straight, either way. What we want to do is stay facing forward for a little while we get our alignment straight first. A lot of people just fold their legs and crank themselves around as hard as they can, and that's not really a good way to get the stretching and strengthening benefits of this pose. So we're going to start legs folded, bottom leg bent or straight. We're going to press the top thigh across as far as you can across your belly and hook it with the opposite elbow. Don't turn around. I know everybody wants to turn around. We're going to sit up nice and tall, lift your ribs up off your hips, and squeeze your inner thighs toward each other. Rest your back fingertips on the floor behind you and get that leg action, the muscle recruitment, and the lifting. Last thing you do is turn to look over the back shoulder. Just turn your head and chest. Keep the legs squeezing in. Keep lifting up. You'll get much more stretching in this outer hip and a lot of strengthening happening in your core waist and your abdominals. So turning your head is not the first thing you do. It's the very last thing you do. After you get your alignment and your muscle recruitment all together, you can make a great entrance. Okay, so that's it from me, Kat Hendricks, the yoga mechanic. Remember, if you take a breath or two and plan your entrance, you'll have a lot more success in your yoga poses and a lot less injuries.